Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Krista Nash, and you are stuck with me today on one of my periodic individual solo episodes where I talk to you about things that I've noticed and learned in my journey as a practitioner in family law, both as an attorney, a guardian ad litem, a child advocate in divorce courts, and as somebody who cares passionately about trying to help you flourish if you're going through divorce or the aftermath of divorce and family breakdown. I have a lot of people listening to the podcast who are parents, but we also have mental health professionals, judicial officers, and attorneys. And I think that this co-parenting and communication topic really should resonate with all of you. As attorneys, we have the ability to try to help our clients do better. And as judges, we have certain things that we can encourage, especially since there are so many pro se or non-represented by attorneys, parents who go through the court system. So judges can learn a lot from this. Of course, mental health professionals as well, I hope can get some tips here that they can help their clients with, and of course, parents. So I hope everyone will stick through. I've got some great examples of how to communicate better. And this resonates with people regardless of where you are on the planet. But I hope that, particularly here in Colorado, where I do most of my practice, though I'm licensed in Wyoming, I really do believe that parents everywhere can benefit from this. I want to tell you about this method. There's a book and some other materials about this. I need to probably have this person on my podcast in the future. His name is Bill Eddy, and he has something called the BIFF model, BIFF, like F as in Frank. So this is a tool that I think is really helpful to people. And the BIFF method stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. I will repeat that. Brief, informative, friendly, firm. And you will find in my notes links to this BIFF method, like in the show notes and in the resources. And I also have created a little handout that you can use that basically just gives you some reminders on these things. So take a look at that. If you don't find it in the show notes, you can find it on my website under resources. It's a communication method designed to diffuse conflict and to keep things focused on the kids. And I've had parents say, wow, that really is like a secret weapon for co-parenting communication. I don't love it being phrased that way because it's a positive thing, not a negative thing. But it is something that is a secret tool, I would say, is a better way to put it, to make your co-parenting communication better. And again, remember, BIFF, there's a book about it. You can order that book on Amazon, and I'll put it in my show notes as well so that you know where to find that. But that is the kind of book that you might want to dive into more deeply if this piques your interest. All right, so I think it's kind of a game changer if parents actually follow this model. So the first part is brief. Keep your responses short, 1 or 2 sentences if possible. Do not get pulled into long explanations or arguments. Don't over-explain. Long messages invite arguments. Secondly, make it informative. Stick to the facts. Share the information that is needed, not more, not less. Just stick to the facts. Leave out opinions, blame, old stuff, personal attacks, old hurts, anything that is these triggering words like you always, you never, you should, you never do this, you always do that. Those are blaming kind of words. So avoid those. Also, third, we want to keep it friendly. Use a neutral, respectful tone. I prefer when parents are actually not just neutral, but friendly, being kind and demonstrating that you can be kind like you would be to a coworker, for example. Keep the tone polite or at least neutral. And you usually you obviously were in a relationship. Almost everybody who has a child was in some kind of relationship. That isn't always the case, but usually, almost always. And so you know what bothers them and they know what bothers you. So try to use that for good and not for bad. It's a friendly thing to not try to trigger somebody, to not try to use words or language or content that you know is going to set the other person off. Try to not do that. Don't use that in a weaponized way. And then fourthly, so we've got brief, informative, friendly, and lastly, firm. Be clear and direct. Don't leave room for misinterpretation or ongoing back and forth. Try to close the door on back and forth arguing by being clear and decisive, but also not rude. All right, so let me give you an example. Let's say your co-parent sends you a message. You're always late. You don't care about anyone but yourself. A BIFF response might be, I'll be there at 5:10. Thanks for your patience. Okay, so you see that. It's short, it gives the needed info, it has a polite tone, and it doesn't invite more argument. It also doesn't say anything at all about, for example, this. If somebody says to you, "You're always late, you don't care about anyone but yourself," you might say back and take the bait, "You are constantly accusing me of that. You're late yourself too. Leave me alone. Stop bothering me. You don't need to text me. You don't know why I'm late." There's a whole, like, I could give you 100 examples or more of what you could respond to that. But listen to this response: "I'll be there at 5:10. Thanks for your patience." And then let it go. One of the things I want to share with you is about how we fight a lot about expenses and schedules. And so I do want to point out that when it comes to using technology wisely, those different applications or Google Docs, but I prefer the applications, can do things like help you keep all your communication in one place, reduce the conflict that you have because everything is able to be looked at. You can see when people read the messages and when they responded to them, or if they didn't respond. You're not always going back to look at your texts and trying to produce those for court if you are going back to court. And then it also allows you to share your calendars, expenses, and documents. And so keep in mind that the next communication tip is to proactively plan ahead on these things, where you populated your calendars with the actual parenting plan and when the kids are exchanging at what time and what dates. You can do color coded. The technology apps allow this to be done really, really well. Also, you can track your expenses. You can share your receipts that way. And you can do things like share, your medical card, your insurance card, or information from the school, different links, things like that. So again, take a listen to those apps. I'm not getting any kind of push, payment from these people or these companies at all to promote this in any way. I just have seen a lot of people use these really well. Certainly, you can do it through text and Google Docs and all those sorts of things, but a lot of the apps allow you to do that in a really easy way for not a ton of money. So think about that and really consider that you need to be clear. Like, clarity is kind. And so we want to be, for the children, being in a communication mechanism where things are published to each of you so that you can reduce conflicts around scheduling and expenses and who's supposed to be where and things like that. That in and of itself, documenting everything can make things a lot more calm and a lot more respect. Put the child at the center, not the middle. I love that, and it's such an important thing. It's worthy of putting on a sticky note and putting on your, somewhere where you see it a lot, on your bathroom sink, or bathroom mirror, or on your computer desk, on your close to your desk or something like that, or wherever you're communicating with your co-parent. Just remind yourself, put a photo of your children in front of you and say, "I'm going to put them in the center, not the middle." And you can think through that, what that looks like, what the difference of that is between being in the middle and being in the center. I once had a teenager tell me, "I feel like a ping pong ball between my parents." And that just breaks my heart. It should break yours too. Kids should never carry messages back and forth. If dad's going to be late, he needs to text mom directly, not ask the child to say it. We don't want kids embroiled in these conflicts. We want parents to feel united in the way that they are trying to go about this, or at least be the grown-ups in the room, be the grown-ups in the family still, because you are still a family. And we want to protect kids from that conflict. And that means really try to think about, what does that mean to have my child in the center, not in the middle, not in the middle of the conflict, like the net in a ping pong competition, with the ball going back and forth, but actually at the center of everything you're considering about what is best for your children.